Good afternoon, everybody. So, in Espe Science School, there are two important words, science and school. Espe as well. So, science is very important. What we try to do in these 3.5 days is to try to develop new thinking and new perspective in pediatric endocrinology. So, for that, we get a pediatric endocrinologist in training with a strong basic researcher, and senior pediatric endocrinologist. And we decide to set up a program leading to discuss upcoming scientific and clinical life news for improving the understanding of pathogenic mechanisms. And we also discuss the possibility to develop new diagnostic strategies and treatment for endocrine disorders in children. At the end, we hope that these 3.5 days will be able to develop research networks within but also outside ESP. The idea behind the science school, and every time with the committee, and you have the name of the people of the steering committee, we first decide about a scientific topic. And then we try to set up a program on this scientific topic and to find what could be important for the endocrine, pediatric endocrinology. So I just want to illustrate this by explaining the last science school, which was held in Annecy in France at the beginning of June. The name of this science school was Non-Coding RNA in Pediatric Endocrinology, which could be a little bit outside and relatively far away for your clinical and daily work. So we were 50 in this science school. And the rationale of this is that non-coding RNA are involved now in many essential physiological functions as growth, cell differentiation, etc. And we know that they are promising new markers and also potential new therapeutic targets. So for these three reasons, we decided that it could be very important for pediatric endocrinology in the future. So we received 38 applications. And what is interesting is that among these 38 applications, 19 was MD, PhD, young MD, PhD, indicating that they have already a strong experience in research. Something that is very important is that we also receive 8 applications from PhD, indicating that there are young researchers interested to be involved in pediatric endocrinology research. As you can see, the youngest of the applicants was in first year of PhD, and the oldest was assistant professor and ESP member. And this point is critical for the science school. What we try to do is the second word, important word in science school, we try to do interactive discussion between young pediatric endocrinologists in training, but also with basic researcher and senior member of the ESP. And I can tell you that basic researcher who do not know at the beginning what was ESP was very interesting to develop interaction with pediatric endocrinologists. We select 24 fellows from 11 countries. Just to give you an overview of the program, in the first day we just was dedicated to fellows. And this was to help interaction, to do some lecture to introduce the scientific topic, to do some speed presentation of research projects, something was very interesting, and then to do also discussion on research project in small group. For the following 2.5 days, there was a scientific meeting. So we split the scientific meeting in 4 different half days with fundamental aspects of non-coding RNA and some declination of non-coding RNA related to pediatric endocrinology, as you can see in this program. The sponsor of ESP Science School is Pfizer since the beginning. We are now at the 7th ESP Science School in this series, and Pfizer is supporting this science school since the beginning. This point is absolutely critical. With this grant, we were able to get a very fabulous avenue on the shore of the Lake Dancy, with nice, comfortable conference room, and also larger room for interactive discussion at lunch or during the coffee break. So when Jan asked me to propose a fellow who could represent all the fellow who attend the science school, I thought that Adela Chirita from Timisoara in Romania could be the best representative. Why? Adela, she's a MD, PhD, she's ESP member, and as you can see on this slide, she seems like relatively well comfortable in slippery pathway. Not as Jean-Philippe Combier, who is a basic researcher, but at least as Ken Wong, who is the senior member of the ESP. Thank you for your attention.
Hello, everyone. I want to say that I feel very honored to be here and have the chance to present a little bit about my background and my experience at the science school this year. So at first, I have to disclose that I'm an Espe member and I knock on Espe's door every chance I get. So I've been to obesity diabetes school, summer school, science school, and I did a clinical fellowship with Professor Faisal Ahmed in Glasgow. So I really want to take advantage of this opportunity and really thank Espe for these amazing experiences I had and really for creating a community of wonderful people. About me, so I'm a clinician. I'm a pediatrician and I'm working now in the University of Medicine in Timisoara. This is in the west part of Romania. You can see here the city center and my university. I couldn't help do a little bit of advertising here. So, although I've been passionate about pediatric endocrinology ever since I was a medical student, doors seemed to open for me towards genetics. So I did my PhD in childhood obesity, and now I'm enrolled in a postdoctoral program looking into telomerase gene expression in obesity. So this matched quite well with the topic of this year's science school. Espe Science School aims to bring together clinical and basic researchers in the field of endocrinology. And these are two worlds that don't always speak the same language, but they need to collaborate in order to promote medical progress. So at the school, I had a chance to present my research, and I got very useful feedback that I can actually implement because my research is still ongoing. And also at the school, I had a chance to get a glimpse of what this field of non-coding RNAs really means at its highest standards. There were 24 speakers, really amazing researchers. Halfway through the presentation, I thought to myself, well, one of the criteria to select the speakers must have been to have at least one publication in Nature, well, for basic science, that is. So luckily, the same standards were not necessary for the fellows. Nonetheless, the admission into the school was quite competitive. So last but not least, I want to say that the venue was absolutely fantastic. You've seen the pictures. You're all convinced. And also, we had a trip to Chamonix, and we saw Mont Blanc, well, from afar. Okay, thank you so much for listening.